There's another video I want us to react
Al
to.
Wahab Farouk on
This
Angel
issue
TV some few
about
days back.
a year,
Security
the defense minister in
US
Ghana.
Venezuela.
And I followed this gentleman,
the foreign ministry, and I said Ghana, your messenger. You try condemning US.
And I think majority of the radios and TVs, of course, almost introducing us as an international relations expert or something like that. And I give him credit for that.
In President John Dramani Mahama,
we came across a video where he was reacting
for
to
not
some
giving the defense ministry to the interior minister Mubarak, was rather given to Dr. Kaisel Ato Forson, who is also the finance minister. Finance ministry, pressure
the submission
into combining the defense and the
came
finance
to the issue about
very problematic.
The defense ministry,
our
security,
Burkina Faso soldiers, Ghana
has carried himself in Ghana or around the nation as an international expert, whereby as we see outside the borders of Ghana and in Ghana when it comes to security and international relations, he carries himself around and says he is an expert. He knows more than majority of us.
Intelligently,
so many people have not challenged yet the background. There's another video I want us to react to. This issue about the defense minister in Ghana. And I followed this gentleman, your friend, Farouk Al Wahab. And I think majority of the radios and TVs, of course, almost introducing him as an international relations expert or something like that. And I give him credit for that. And we came across a video where he was reacting to some security issues. And it was on Angel FM, Sadiq Adams, the host. Now, we listened to the submission. It came to the issue about the defense ministry, our security, and Al Wahab has carried himself in Ghana or around the nation as an international expert, whereby as we see outside the borders of Ghana and in Ghana when it comes to security, international relations, he carries himself around and says he is an expert. He knows more than majority of us. So many people have not challenged yet the background. They have not challenged the number of meetings and assignments and what actually qualifies somebody to call themselves an expert. But it's Ghana. Let's leave it there. He made a comment today, and I believe he said, as an international security expert or international relations expert or whatever, he should know better when it comes to security, positioning, security as an institution, leadership of security agencies, their job as leaders, and the job of institutions. There are two different things here. There's what we call the security institution. There's what we call the security and leadership. Now, if you're not able to distinguish between the security as an institution or as a body from the leadership of security institutions, you might be an expert in that field, but you end up exposing yourself and some way or somehow letting people know, say, you are not current as people think you are supposed to be. When it comes to political issues, when it comes to international relations issues, when it comes to security issues, you have to be super updated. You have to also understand to say, when it comes to security, decisions that are taken strategically, maybe to the layman's eyes, and I say, to we the layman, you better make as a security man be engineer gate one security man instead of 3. Maybe we won't call security school and I say, we need anything about defense, you might think, say, why this big door and one security man standing in front of it? Maybe about 7 snipers have been put on some high buildings to be monitoring that gate. Technically, there are 8 people watching that gate. But when you go there and you see one police officer standing there, in your head, you might say, this is a big security mishap. Because why this big gate? Why so many things in this house and we have only one security man? For all you know, there are 16 cameras, 17 snipers who are all in hidden places monitoring the same gate. So when you call yourself an expert, international relations or security expert, sometimes when it comes to addressing issues, when it comes to national security, defense, and all these things, you need to be very mindful the way you speak. And I feel that sometimes people get too excited when they are called to speak on issues or they are tagged a certain way or represent something. So they get carried away, and sometimes in their delivery, they underestimate, even in the process of them trying to maybe say something about they end up rather discrediting and undermining the authority, and it is very tricky and dangerous. Now let's go listen to Al Wahab.
A country with their defense minister, it is very bad. Okay. It is very poor. Practically, from the time Nyameto and Safre, your defense minister, a country in this modern world without a substantive defense minister is an exposure. And it is a very, very, Burkina border day. Defense minister would have picked the intelligence, but the defense minister that we have now is sitting at the Ministry of Finance. The country most pressured ministry is the finance, because that does and deals with the distribution of money, economy. Everything has to run through the economy, education, economy, bioeconomy. Do you understand me? And as a interim support, Obi Meye holding office and only holding the defense ministry. Please, Mr. President, with this one, this is the only opportunity I'm taking to speak on this subject. Not the Minister of Finance. The reason is very simple. The ministry is already too much for him to bear. Minister of Defense also is the defense of the nation because of these days, and especially we have Boko and all that. At what time does he go to sit on economic planning meetings and discuss about economy and brief the presidency and brief the banks and etc. about the economy? How does he get time to go and sit with the military? That is wrong. Two, relatively who is doing the work of the same Minister of Defense, you can say, defense ministry aside, the next person that you can consider should have been the interior. Interior police, interior immigration, interior prisons, or fire service, or NADBO, all those things. And the Sanka defense minister in Noah, now say yenya substantive, or baby take over and kafa interior. Okay. And now less ministry, science and technology, say, but don't to mean defense ministry and San Koka Minister of Finance. Abraham Morovan said, so a finance minister or what be a defense background and a military background or anything to do with defense there. Okay, because he himself or that history or need that background or Juma, I want a finance ministry. Yaman concentrate no Jumano, no defense ministry, so if he says still in Yaubia. My interior minister and share because it's the police and the same security company on the community no one share. It is wrong. We can't live with that as substantive ministry of a ministry.
That is the problem I have with his submission. And the problem is simple. If you look at security as cabinet meeting, caucus meeting, then without due respect, you calling yourself an international relations expert and security expert, you don't deserve to be called that, because like you said in your own statement, we are in a modern world where technology is basically running our security. Now, when the substantive minister Omane Boamah died, Omane Boamah was in direct collaboration. In fact, he was working hand in hand with the deputy finance minister. And remember, the deputy finance minister, deputy defense minister, Broja Jemfi. And remember, we all know that Broja Jemfi, after Omane Boamah left office, he has been exceptional. You see, when we sit to speak and we try to undermine people, their efforts, that is where some of us have problems with people like you. Your problem is that why didn't the president choose somebody else from a minor ministry? No ministry is minor. No ministry. There is a reason why they are ministries. Now, if the president decides to choose the finance minister to be the interim defense minister, then it means there's a specific reason why he did not say that the deputy defense minister should go home. There is a reason. Now, if you fail to acknowledge the deputy defense minister's role from that time till now, then it means you are also lacking the basic understanding of security and defense. Because at the end of the day, if the finance minister is playing a role that is just what we call an acting role, then it means that the deputy finance minister is playing the role as the defense minister. So nothing has really changed when it comes to the defense of this nation. At this point, when it comes to defense, Mr. Al Wahab, I don't think that you would choose your enemy, even in your own family, to be your next of kin. You see, a woman and a woman, they are two different things. There's a reason why when cabinet names are coming out, defense is something that a lot of people are very, very interested in. Because we believe, say, if somebody is chosen as the defense minister and the honest president in the court in like he is somebody the president can trust. So you don't expect the president to just get up one morning and say that, you know what, with all due respect, the defense minister at this point is not around. There's a deputy who is working, and that because there is an interior minister, because there is a police officer or a minister, so I have to just put the person there. For all you know, the former defense ministers, when you go back and check their background, none of them had what we call experience in anything called defense. Now your problem is that the finance minister has a lot of work, so he cannot perform. Okay, say asama esiwo boko. Senka interior defense minister no wa. When the defense minister is in Accra, he does not go to Boko to man the borders of Boko. Every single thing that happens in this country or outside this country or on our borders, it is all intelligence gathering and report that ends up in Accra. And I can tell you on authority that when Omane Boama was the defense minister, most times are not only around, his deputy was the one making sure the ministry was running. So if Omane Boama is not there and the president is still keeping the deputy defense minister and says that he is taking his time to find somebody to work with the deputy, so the finance minister should play that role. It does not mean that the deputy finance minister does not know what he's doing. That is the reason why we have a vice president and a president. When the president is not around, he knows for sure that the vice president can take his job. Now, the issue here is that when you make it look like the deputy finance minister who is still there, the deputy finance minister who has background in security, maybe you have not checked Broja Jemfi's resume. I want you to spend a minute and go back and check the resume of Broja Jemfi. And then you understand why President John Dramani Mahama decided to make him deputize Omane Boama. For the finance minister, playing an oversight responsibility or role as the defense minister does not take anything away from the work they are doing. In the first place, what is so daring and so crazy confronting Ghana that if now we have a defense minister working with the finance minister to make sure, say, the defense ministry is running now. You are making it look like, say, the president has made the biggest mistake. They're mistaken, the president now. Because if tonight, say, bomb at one of our borders, the defense minister, if even we have a substantive defense minister, he's not going to get in a helicopter and go to where the bomb exploded. It is still going to be intelligence gathering. It is going to be a report that has to be in Accra for him to deal with. So you cannot just run down people who have worked hard to get to a position. When you were speaking on the show, you made it look like, say, Ato Forson a defense minister. No. There is a deputy defense minister who worked with Omane Boama before Omane Boama lost his life. Now, at this point, the president believes, Senka president ninji Broja Jemfi India and Kobeka Broja Jemfi say go home. I need to get a new deputy defense minister and a defense minister. But the president knew the experience of Broja Jemfi and he knew what he brings to the table. He said, I am going to appoint Forson to have an oversight responsibility. Meaning, if you go to the defense ministry, technically Forson is just being briefed because the president has confidence in the deputy finance minister. So it is the deputy who is there. Don't make it look like, say, Forson Soriano Pana or finance ministry or Koswako, and that Osoriano Pa in front of him, 100,000 papers, the good anima. He cannot have some time to be briefed by the deputy finance minister on the status of our security in Ghana. No, you don't necessarily need the interior minister to be the defense minister acting. Muntaka does not have any experience when it comes to defense, and it's a fact. So if Muntaka is the interior minister, it does not qualify Muntaka to be the defense minister. So if from your experience and from your background, you sit on radio and make it look like, say, Forson, interim defense minister, it is wrong. Mr. President, the president knows what he's doing. Let us not run people down. Let us not make it look like, say, there are people there who are not working with Forson. With all due respect, after the demise of Eye Omanibuama, a dear threat as a nation, our defense could not handle. A dear threat to and so far, we have seen the work the deputy and the Forson, who is in charge as an interim, doing right now in Ghana. The president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. He has his own reasons for saying, he wants to keep the deputy and make the finance minister oversee the defense ministry. What is the big deal? Technology, defense has changed. And yet now, we need boots on the ground, whereby everybody has to be holding a gun and be on a border. Today, people are using drones to monitor their borders. People are using intelligence. You don't need to be at the forefront or the war front to make decisions to protect your borders. You can sit in Accra and make decisions to protect all your borders. So you need to speak as an expert. Let us stop doing all these things. The president has done nothing wrong. The president has done nothing wrong. In the first place, you are the same people who were saying that the ministers, the government has been using to work is too much. Today, we have a government that we are able to use less ministers to run the economy. What do you need? And there's no loophole in our defense, in our security, in our borders. So you might not agree with me on this. The president never said he was not going to appoint a defense minister. The president said he needed time to appoint a defense minister, meaning that position is not a walk in the park. It's not just to go and sleep and get up and say, Asimesi, go and be a defense minister. Somebody can be an interim defense minister and can shut your nation down. Somebody can be an interim defense minister for 1 week and your governance, your government will be taken away from you. Do not underestimate this. You have read too much when it comes to defense. You have read too much. It is not about having an individual sitting there as a defense minister. That shows to say your country's defenses are solid. It is about the person coming, the commitment to the job and to the man who appointed him. So it is not just about an individual coming to sit there and calling himself a defense minister. The president can elect anybody as a defense minister. But at the end of the day, the consequences, at the end of the day, can you bear it? So at least let us respect the decision of the president. Let us respect the decision of the president. And I know you are not rude to the president, but from your background, baby Aufriba, and your submission, I believe, you have not been fair to the deputy defense minister. You have not been fair to Broja Jemfi. Tomorrow, you same people should come and read Broja Jemfi's resume and tell Ghanaians he even qualifies to be a defense minister. So you people should stop this. Mumienjai, sir, you don't want to recognize the man. You don't want to recognize the work he's doing. You don't want to recognize some people. We cannot use names and faces to be like, by force, somebody should be there. Forson has not complained. Forson has not complained. We have had people who have taken roles that they never had an idea about, and they have worked and done the work exceptionally. So please, when these things come and we are discussing, we first have to ask ourselves, who are in charge now? Oh, who and who are now in charge? Oh, Broja Jemfi, he was the deputy to Almane Boama. What's his background? Okay, Ato Forson is overseeing it. The president is taking his time. Is Broja Jemfi in depth? Does he know about this? Yes. So what's the big deal here? Asamoba, the same thing about after this issue that happened in Venezuela and our Foreign Affairs Ministry released a statement. Quickly, you people say anything. Quickly. Mokasa by heart, with all due respect. International relations. Defense. This is the modern world we are in now. A young man of about 18 years. And the America, their intelligence. Enquara 17, 18, 19, 20 are in charge of American defense systems. Munja is adiano. And intelligence need defense. Intelligence, I guess I'm from Rizzo Metua. Nina talk, and you're meeting wemu. It is not about age. It is not about you are quick to respond to things quickly. Intelligence, international relations. Our Foreign Affairs Ministry. You think they are stupid to just release a statement? Do you think Ablakwa is just foolish to just release a statement on this Venezuela issue? Most start here human DNA, international DNA. You want about support the Biamudia Bessie and a Muhuna and your call Iraq and your call Togo and your call. There are people who are handling issues, but they don't even call themselves they don't call themselves experts. I am Umbra Mwase Kakra. I am Umbra Mwase. Take the letter and read the letter well. Take the statement that the Foreign Affairs Ministry published and read it well. And yet the Biani Biamaika Mokasamu and Penny for. Some of you cannot even operate a computer. You cannot operate even an iPhone. You cannot even operate the new modern technology we have. And some of us can't technology a defense where we are seeing now. Defense goes beyond a border. Barrier to security goes beyond border barrier to so. J.A. Kufuor in as defense minister. Go and check the background of J.A. Kufuor's brother. Did he have any defense background? It's about the trust. Let's not talk as if we say Yenibibia or Ghana. Do you want me to read Broja Jemfi's resume? Go and check yourself. Munjai Sakasano, and you just hear anybody talk anyhow. And a black way releases statement to be any entiasia and opreno and a enquasiake kana yamude. Mukasa anyhow. When you take a document, read the document and then process the document before you speak.